Have you ever wondered how the sands of time have shifted under the influence of different civilizations? Such is the curious case of the Romans and their impact on ancient Egypt. Egypt, the cradle of civilization, with its pyramids and pharaohs, has always held an allure for history enthusiasts. But like a prism refracting light, Egypt's history is multifaceted, with one of its most intriguing aspects being the influence of the Roman civilization. The Romans, renowned for their mastery in governance and engineering, set foot in Egypt around the 1st century BC. A land already steeped in rich history, Egypt was a jewel that many sought but few could claim. For the Romans, it was an opportunity to expand their empire, and for Egypt, it was the dawn of a new era. Over the course of our exploration, we will navigate through the corridors of time to shed light on the Roman conquest, the blending of cultures under Roman rule, the marvels of Roman engineering, and their enduring legacy in Egypt. Imagine, if you will, the bustling city of Cyrene, a vibrant testament to Roman architectural prowess, thriving under the desert sun. Picture the grandeur of Roman forts, their imposing structures a beacon of Roman might amidst Egypt's ancient landscape. But this influence was not confined to bricks and mortar. The Romans, with their nuanced governance, were architects of society too. They built bridges, not just of stone, but of culture, intertwining their own with that of the Egyptians, creating a rich tapestry woven with threads of both Roman and Egyptian heritage. And let's not forget the marvels of Roman engineering. Aqueducts snaking through the landscape, an ingenious solution to the desert's harsh climate. Their testament to the Romans' ingenuity still stands today, echoing tales of a civilization far advanced for its time. As we delve deeper into this intriguing history, we will uncover the profound impact of the Roman civilization on ancient Egypt, a tale of conquest, cultural fusion, architectural genius, and an enduring legacy that has stood the test of time. This is the unseen influence of the Romans on ancient Egypt. The Romans, a civilization known for its military prowess and strategic acumen, set their sights on Egypt around 30 BC. The allure of Egypt's vast resources and strategic location was too enticing to ignore. After all, Egypt was a jewel in the crown of the Mediterranean, with its fertile river valleys, abundant grain, and access to the Red Sea trade routes. The conquest of Egypt was not just about territorial expansion for the Romans, it was a strategic move, a testament to their foresight. Egypt was not just another province, it was the breadbasket of the Roman Empire. The fertile lands along the Nile River provided a steady supply of grain, ensuring that Rome never went hungry. Furthermore, the wealth of Egypt, particularly its gold, added significantly to the coffers of the Roman Empire, fueling its economic prosperity. But the Romans weren't merely conquerors, they were also assimilators. They recognized the importance of Egypt's rich culture and history. Instead of imposing their culture wholesale on the Egyptians, they chose to integrate, absorbing elements of Egyptian culture into their own. This approach allowed them to win over the hearts and minds of the Egyptian people, making their rule more palatable. The conquest of Egypt marked the beginning of Roman influence in the region. The Romans established their presence with the construction of forts and cities, including the city of Cyrene, which became a hub of Roman culture and commerce in North Africa. These settlements served not only as military outposts, but also as symbols of Roman power and civilization. The Roman conquest also marked a significant shift in Egypt's history. The pharaonic era had ended, and the Roman era had begun. It was a period of change and adaptation, as two of the ancient world's most renowned civilizations became inexorably intertwined. With the conquest complete, the stage was set for a Roman era in Egypt's history. The Romans had arrived, and they were here to stay. Their influence would permeate every aspect of Egyptian life, from its culture to its architecture, leaving an indelible mark on the land of the pharaohs. Under Roman rule, Egypt experienced a fusion of cultures that shaped its future. The Roman conquest of Egypt in 30 BC was not just a political takeover, but a significant cultural merger that forever altered the course of Egyptian history. This period was marked by a fascinating blend of Roman and Egyptian cultures, creating a unique societal tapestry that still resonates today. The Romans, renowned for their administrative efficiency, brought about significant societal changes. They introduced their language Latin, but also allowed the use of Greek and Egyptian, acknowledging the importance of cultural diversity. This linguistic coexistence is a testament to the Romans' pragmatic approach, allowing for smoother administration and better communication with the locals. In the realm of religion, the Romans displayed remarkable adaptability. They embraced Egyptian gods, incorporating them into their pantheon, thus creating a hybrid religious system. The Roman emperor, seen as a divine entity in Rome, was also portrayed as a pharaoh in Egyptian contexts, further exemplifying this cultural synthesis. The Romans also respected and adopted the Egyptian tradition of mummification, a practice associated with the journey to the afterlife. This adoption illustrates the Romans' willingness to integrate local customs into their own, a strategy that undoubtedly helped in maintaining peace and stability. Politically, the Romans recognized the value of the existing Egyptian administrative structures and, rather than dismantling them, chose to adapt and build upon them. While the Romans brought their own laws and governance style, they also incorporated Egyptian legal traditions, creating a blended system that was both effective and accepted by the locals. Under Roman rule, Egypt became a melting pot of cultures, a place where Roman and Egyptian traditions coexisted and even merged. The Romans' pragmatic approach to ruling, their willingness to adapt, and their respect for the existing culture resulted in a unique societal blend, a fusion that enriched both societies. The Roman rule had firmly woven itself into the fabric of Egyptian society, leaving an indelible mark. The Romans were renowned for their engineering prowess, and Egypt was no exception to their architectural marvels. When we delve into the annals of history, we find that Roman engineering left an indelible mark on the landscape of Egypt. This influence is evident in the remarkable structures that withstood the test of time, echoing the grandeur of Rome even in the heart of the desert. One of the most fascinating examples of Roman engineering in Egypt is the aqueducts. These ingenious structures were designed to transport water from the Nile to the arid regions of the country. The Romans applied their knowledge of hydraulics to master the art of moving water across great distances, using gravity as their ally. They built aqueducts with such precision that even after 2,000 years, some of these structures remain functional. Just as impressive are the Roman bridges scattered across Egypt. These bridges were not just feats of engineering, they were strategically placed to facilitate trade and communication. The Romans harnessed the power of arches, a design still used in modern bridges, to create sturdy, reliable structures that could bear the weight of heavy traffic. But the epitome of Roman influence in Egypt can be seen in the city of Cyrene. Nestled in the Libyan desert, Cyrene was once a vibrant Roman city, brimming with grand architecture. The city was a fusion of Egyptian and Roman cultures, reflected in its many monuments. The Romans adorned Cyrene with a grand amphitheatre, a testament to their love for the arts, and bathhouses that showcased their innovative heating systems. The city was also home to the Temple of Zeus, a colossal structure that rivaled the Parthenon in Athens. This temple, built in the Corinthian style, with its fluted columns and ornate friezes, is a testament to the architectural prowess of the Romans. The Roman engineering marvels in Egypt were not just structures of stone and mortar. They were symbols of the empire's might, the physical embodiment of their knowledge and creativity. Even today, these structures inspire awe and admiration, reminding us of a time when Rome's influence stretched across the known world. These architectural wonders stand as a testament to the Roman influence that pervaded Egypt. Even as empires rise and fall, their legacies continue to echo through the ages. The Roman Empire was no exception. Its influence on ancient Egypt was profound, and its imprint can still be seen today. The Romans, with their superior military tactics and engineering prowess, built numerous forts across Egypt. These forts served not just as defensive structures, but also as important trade and administrative centers. One could say that these forts were the backbone of Roman rule in Egypt, facilitating control over the vast desert landscapes and the bustling Nile River. But the Romans didn't just bring their military might to Egypt. They brought their culture too. The Romans, being pragmatic as they were, did not seek to erase the existing Egyptian culture, but rather chose to integrate it with their own. This integration led to a fascinating blend of Roman and Egyptian cultural elements, visible in the architecture, art, and even religious practices of the time. The city of Cyrene stands as a testament to this blend of cultures, with its Roman-styled buildings adorned with Egyptian symbols and motifs. The Roman influence also extended to the governance of Egypt. The Romans introduced a more centralized administrative system which proved to be more efficient than the previous structures. This system not only helped the Romans maintain control over Egypt, but also paved the way for future administrative practices. Finally, the Romans introduced new agricultural techniques and crops that boosted Egypt's economy. They also improved the existing irrigation systems, ensuring a more reliable water supply for the agricultural lands. These advancements in agriculture had a lasting impact, securing Egypt's position as a breadbasket of the Mediterranean even after the fall of the Roman Empire. The Roman influence in Egypt was not just a chapter in history, but a saga that continues to resonate. The Roman legacy in Egypt is a story of cultural integration, administrative efficiency, and agricultural advancement. It's a story that serves as a reminder of how empires, even in their fall, continue to shape the world in unexpected ways. The sands of the Egyptian desert hold stories of times when the might of Rome shaped its destiny. We've journeyed through epochs, traversed the timeline of the Roman conquest and rule, and marveled at the engineering feats that stood as testaments to Roman ingenuity. We've explored the harmonious blend of cultures that resulted from the Roman reign in Egypt, and how their legacy still lingers in the windswept landscapes of this ancient land. As we traced the footsteps of Roman soldiers along the Nile, we discovered the profound effects of Roman architecture and engineering. The aqueducts, the bridges, the forts, all silent witnesses to a time when Rome's influence was stamped onto Egyptian soil. They echo the genius of a civilization that was far ahead of its time, a civilization that left an indelible mark on the world. We ventured into the city of Cyrene, a page from history that encapsulates the Roman-Egyptian cultural fusion. A city that bears witness to the Roman administrative acumen, and a testament to the peaceful coexistence of two great civilizations under the Roman rule. The Roman era was not merely a period of conquest and rule, it was an era of influence that sowed the seeds of progress and cultural evolution. The Roman legacy in Egypt is not confined to the remnants of their architectural marvels. It is imbued in the ethos of the land, subtly influencing its course of development. Understanding this Roman influence is akin to piecing together a grand puzzle, a puzzle that reveals the vibrant tapestry of Egyptian history. It helps us comprehend how the past has shaped the present and how it will continue to shape the future. In conclusion, the Roman era was a pivotal chapter in the history of ancient Egypt. It was a time of change, of growth, and of cultural amalgamation. It was an era that left an enduring imprint on the sands of time. As we walk on the sands of Egypt, we tread on layers of history, each telling a tale of civilizations, their rise, their fall, and their enduring influence. Did you know that beer and bread were not just food items, but also a form of currency in ancient Egypt? While it was the Mesopotamians who first invented beer, even developing the ingenious use of a straw to sidestep the pesky sediments and herbs, it was the ancient Egyptians who truly mastered the art of brewing. The quality of Egyptian beer was judged by its color, its flavor, and of course, its alcohol strength. Beer was more than just a beverage to the ancient Egyptians. During the Pharaonic era, it became the most commonly used alcoholic drink, and its importance was unparalleled. It was consumed daily by both adults and children, and it was even included in medical texts as a key ingredient hundreds remedies. The state and temples used beer as a form of payment to their workers. It was also offered up as food to the gods and the deceased. This humble brew was the drink of choice at ceremonies and festivals, and there was even a particular festival aptly named the Festival of Drunkenness, devoted entirely to it. Beer was not the only product the Egyptians were skilled at creating. Bakers and brewers often worked side by side in the same workshop or house, with bread being another staple in the Egyptian diet. The most basic recipe involved using malted cereal as the primary ingredient, with fruits such as dates, honey and spices added for flavor. Once baked, the bread would be crumbled into the brew to kickstart the fermentation process, creating a thick, mash-like substance. The process was a testament to the Egyptians' resourcefulness. Very little was wasted. Leftover grains were put to good use, either being reused to make sourdough bread or incorporated into the next batch in the Pharaonic era. Beer and bread evolved from mere sustenance to become the most commonly used and significant commodity. Imagine receiving your salary in the form of beer and bread. Sounds unusual, right? But that was the reality during the Pharaonic era in ancient Egypt. Beer and bread, more than just staples of the Egyptian diet, were the currency of the land. The state and temples used these commodities as payment to workers, from the builders of the Great Pyramids to the farmers tilling the fertile Nile riverbanks. But it didn't stop at wages. Beer and bread also held a sacred place in Egyptian society. They were routinely included in offerings to the gods and the deceased. It was believed that these offerings would provide for the needs of the departed in the afterlife. In fact, the hieroglyphic symbol for meal was a loaf of bread and a jar of beer. Festivals and ceremonies too were incomplete without these two essentials. One such occasion was the Festival of Drunkenness, a unique celebration dedicated entirely to beer. This festival commemorated the myth of Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess, who almost wiped out humanity but was pacified by beer. Egyptians would drink to the point of oblivion, believing that in their intoxicated state they could connect with the divine. Beer was not just a recreational drink. It was considered to be quite nutritious and was a significant part of the everyday lives of ancient Egyptians. It was consumed with all meals by adults and children alike. Its importance is further underscored by its prominence in medical texts, where hundreds of remedies contained beer as a key ingredient. As for bread, it was more than a side dish. It was a symbol of life and fertility, and its production was associated with the god Osiris, who was believed to have taught Egyptians the art of agriculture. So, while we might not find the idea of being paid in beer and bread appealing today, for the ancient Egyptians, these were not just food items. They were an integral part of their life, culture, and economy. Indeed, beer and bread were not just food items, they were the lifeblood of ancient Egypt's economy and culture. Beer for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that was a typical day for an ancient Egyptian. Beer wasn't just an indulgence for them, it was a dietary staple consumed by adults and children alike. It was as common as water, and arguably safer to drink considering the purification process involved in brewing. Now, it might sound strange to us, but the beer of ancient Egypt was very different from what we're used to today. It was a nutritious, hearty brew that was more like a liquid bread. It was thick, often consumed with a straw to bypass the chunky sediments, and contained proteins, vitamins, and even antibiotic properties. Yes, you heard that right. This beer could help fight off diseases, an added bonus in a time before modern medicine. In fact, beer was so significant in the day-to-day lives of ancient Egyptians that it even found its way into their medical practices. Hundreds of remedies from that era include beer as a key ingredient. It was used to treat everything from digestive issues to wounds, making it an essential part of their health regimen. And it wasn't just beer that held a crucial place in their diet. Bread, too, was a staple food made from barley or emmer wheat. It was often enriched with additional ingredients like fruits, nuts, honey, and spices, providing a wide range of nutrients. The process of baking bread and brewing beer were closely linked, often happening in the same workshop or household. The leftover grains from brewing were reused to make sourdough bread, ensuring that nothing went to waste. This circular process not only maximized resources, but also created a symbiotic relationship between the two essential food items. Now, keep in mind, this was not a diet born out of indulgence, but out of necessity. In a harsh desert environment where fresh produce was limited, beer and bread provided the necessary calories and nutrients to sustain life. So, for ancient Egyptians, beer was not just a drink, it was a vital part of their diet and health regimen. And bread wasn't just a side dish, but a life-sustaining necessity. Their importance in the daily life of ancient Egyptians was paramount, a testament to human ingenuity in turning simple grains into nourishing sustenance. The ancient Egyptians were not just pyramid builders, they were master brewers and bakers too. Their craft was a delicate dance of ingredients and steps, an art form that took skill and care to perfect. The most basic recipe for their beer began with malted cereal. This humble grain was the starting point, the canvas upon which the Egyptians would create their masterpiece. To this they added dates, a sweet, sticky fruit that lent flavour and body to the brew. Honey was another addition, bringing its own unique sweetness and depth. Spices too were included, their aromatic notes dancing amidst the other flavours, adding complexity and intrigue. And then there was bread. Not just any bread, but bread that was freshly baked and crumbled into the brew, a catalyst to start the all-important fermentation process. Adding grain enzymes to the mix, the Egyptians were able to break down the starches in the bread and malt, turning them into sugars. This created a thick mash, a soupy mixture that was the precursor to the final beer. Once ready, this bread and grain mixture was compressed, strained through a sieve with water, and added to the mix of malt beer. This beer mash was then transferred to large containers and compressed again, either by foot or with pestles. This process smoothed out the mixture, readying it for the final steps. Once smooth, the beer was stored in pottery jars, sealed with a clay stopper to keep it fresh. Its shelf life was limited, and it likely had a thick, pasty appearance and texture. But in ancient Egypt, nothing was wasted. The leftover grains from the brewing process were reused either to make sourdough bread or to be combined with the next batch of beer. This cycle of brewing and baking, of creation and reuse, was a testament to the Egyptians' resourcefulness and ingenuity. Despite the passage of time, the brewing and baking techniques of the ancient Egyptians remain an awe-inspiring testament to their ingenuity. As the sands of time shifted, so did the quality and significance of beer and bread in ancient Egypt. Take a moment to consider the humble grain of wheat. In its raw form, it may not seem like much, but when transformed by the hands of skilled bakers and brewers, it became the lifeblood of a civilization. The introduction of durum wheat, a hard variety of wheat with a high protein content, brought about a significant improvement in the quality of bread. This allowed the upper and middle classes to enjoy a more refined taste. However, the story was different for the poor. Their diet was often a simple gruel made of vegetables, softened bread or barley. Despite the advances in bread making, the disparity between the classes was evident even in their meals. Interestingly, the way food was prepared also evolved. Until the Middle Kingdom, food was prepared on the floor. Can you imagine kneading dough or brewing beer in the dust? But innovation came in the form of cooking benches. These raised platforms provided a cleaner, more efficient space for preparing meals and must have been a welcome change for the bakers and brewers of the time. In the world of brewing, the techniques remained largely the same, but the recipes evolved. Brewers began experimenting with different ingredients, adding fruits, nuts and spices to their brews. This not only enhanced the flavor of the beer, but also provided additional nutrients, further cementing beer's place as a vital part of the Egyptian diet. Just as the pyramids stand as a testament to the architectural prowess of the ancient Egyptians, the evolution of beer and bread serves as a testament to their culinary innovation. This is a story of a society that valued both necessity and pleasure, creating a balance that was reflected in their food and drink. From humble beginnings to significant commodities, the journey of beer and bread in ancient Egypt is a fascinating tale of evolution and adaptation. Did you know that Alexandria, once considered the pinnacle of learning and culture, was founded by a man who never lived to see its completion? In the year 331 before the Common Era, Alexander the Great, the ambitious Macedonian king, laid the foundations of what would become one of the greatest cities of the ancient world. And yet, the city's early days remain shrouded in mystery. What grand vision did Alexander hold for this city? It was to be more than a mere military outpost to control Egypt. He envisioned a city that would become a melting pot of cultures, a place where the wisdom of the East would blend with the knowledge of the West. Sadly, he would not live to see his dream fulfilled. He died in Babylon, far from the city that bore his name. The city, named after its founder, would soon flourish into a beacon of knowledge and culture, outliving the man who envisioned it. Imagine a city so advanced, it housed the world's largest library and became the epicenter of knowledge and learning. This was Alexandria, the beacon of enlightenment in ancient Egypt and indeed the world. It was here that the great library of Alexandria was established, a marvel not just in architecture, but also in its purpose. This wasn't merely a repository of scrolls, but a vibrant hub that attracted the brightest minds from every corner of the known world. Scholars, philosophers, scientists, poets, they all flocked to Alexandria, drawn by the allure of the library and the promise of boundless knowledge. The library was not just about books. It was a melting pot of cultures, ideas, and intellectual discourse. It was here that the world's greatest thinkers of the time, such as Euclid and Archimedes, gathered to share, discuss, and challenge each other's ideas, sparking intellectual revolutions that would shape the course of human thought. The library was not merely a place of learning, but also of cultural exchange. With countless scrolls written in different languages representing different cultures, it served as a bridge, connecting East and West, North and South. It was this convergence of diverse cultures and ideas that made the Library of Alexandria a true seat of learning. But as is the case with many great things, the Library of Alexandria was not destined to last. Despite its immeasurable contribution to human knowledge and understanding, it was tragically lost to the sands of time. Fires, wars, neglect, the exact cause of its demise is still a mystery. But what's certain is that the loss was colossal, a void that could never be filled. Yet the legacy of the Library of Alexandria lives on. It reminds us of a time when Alexandria was more than just a city. It was the epicenter of learning, the meeting point of cultures, the beacon of enlightenment. The Library of Alexandria, a testament to the city's commitment to knowledge and learning, was tragically lost to the sands of time. Ever wondered where the concept of a lighthouse originated from? It was birthed from the ingenious minds of the ancient Egyptians, specifically in the city of Alexandria. This city was home to the Lighthouse of Alexandria, a marvel of human achievement and one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Constructed in the 3rd century BC, this towering structure stood at an astounding height of 350 feet, a beacon of hope and guidance for mariners navigating the treacherous Mediterranean Sea. The lighthouse was more than just a feat of engineering. It was a symbol of the city's significance. Crafted from large blocks of light-colored stone, the 3-tiered lighthouse was an unmistakable landmark. Its lowest level was a square-shaped base. The middle was octagonal, and the top was a circular level, crowned with a statue that reached for the heavens. At night, a fire was lit at the apex, its light magnified by mirrors to reach far into the sea. The Lighthouse of Alexandria served a dual purpose. While its primary function was to guide ships, it also symbolized the city's role as a beacon of knowledge and enlightenment. Alexandria was a center of learning, a place where scholars from around the world gathered to exchange ideas and make groundbreaking discoveries. The lighthouse, much like the city itself, served as a beacon of light, guiding the world towards knowledge and discovery. All great things, they say, must come to an end, but sometimes they leave behind echoes that reverberate through time. And so it was with Alexandria. The decline of this great city was a slow and gradual process, its grandeur fading under the weight of time and changing hands of power. When Rome took over Egypt around the 1st century BC, Alexandria's star began to wane. The Romans, with their own bustling capital and cultural centers, didn't prioritize Alexandria's upkeep, and the city's importance as a hub of learning and culture began to diminish. The great library, once the jewel of the city, was not spared. Through a series of unfortunate events, including fires and neglect, much of its vast collection of knowledge was lost. The lighthouse, one of the ancient world's 7 wonders, crumbled into the sea after a series of earthquakes. The city that had once been a beacon of enlightenment was losing its light. Yet even as Alexandria's ancient wonders disappeared, they were not forgotten. As centuries turned into millennia, the city's past was buried, not just in the annals of history, but also under layers of earth and sea. It lay there waiting to be rediscovered, to tell its story once more. And rediscover we did. Modern archaeology has unearthed many of Alexandria's secrets. Divers exploring the city's ancient harbour found remnants of the lighthouse. Excavations have revealed the layout of the city, the grandeur of its architecture, and given us a glimpse into the lives of its inhabitants. Through these findings, we can piece together the city's past and marvel at its grandeur. These discoveries remind us that Alexandria was not just a city, but a symbol of human curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge. Even in its decline and disappearance, it continues to inspire us, offering a window into a world that once was and could be again. The once thriving city of Alexandria may have faded into history, but its legacy lives on, reminding us of a time when it stood at the forefront of knowledge and culture. The city of Alexandria, a beacon of the ancient world, may no longer exist as it once did, but its influence echoes through the ages. Conceived by Alexander the Great, it embraced the spirit of enlightenment with the establishment of its famed library. Its majestic lighthouse, an architectural marvel, guided many, while its decline and rediscovery remind us of the ebb and flow of civilizations. In the annals of history, Alexandria stands as a testament to the human thirst for knowledge, culture, and progress. A city that truly was a light in the darkness. Have you ever wondered how a day in the life of an ancient Egyptian unfolded? As dawn's first light brushed across the horizon, ancient Egyptian households stirred into activity. The day started early, long before the punishing heat of the desert sun could make work unbearable. Family members roused themselves from their simple beds, often nothing more than a mat on the floor, and began their day with the rising sun, a testament to their resilience and tenacity. The morning air would fill with the scent of baking bread, a staple in the Egyptian diet, made from emmer wheat or barley. This humble loaf, often accompanied by a jug of beer, formed the backbone of their breakfast. The beer, contrary to modern perceptions, was a nutritious brew, low in alcohol and high in vital nutrients. Bread and beer, in their simplicity, provided sustenance and energy for the day's activities. Meanwhile, the household chores were set in motion. Floors were swept, homes tidied, and animals attended to. These tasks were shared among the family members, each contributing to the smooth running of the household. Despite the simplicity of their dwellings, cleanliness was of utmost importance, a reflection of their spiritual beliefs and their reverence for Ma'at, the ancient Egyptian concept of truth, balance, order, harmony, law, morality, and justice. As the morning chores were completed, the children, seen as blessings from the gods, were prepared for their day. Many would accompany their parents to learn the family trade, while others, particularly those from wealthier families, would receive education, a privilege that was not universally accessible. The morning bustle, a symphony of activity, was a testament to the industriousness of the ancient Egyptians. Their day-to-day life was a delicate balance of work and family, a dance choreographed to the rhythm of the rising and setting sun. Their homes, whether grand mansions of the wealthy or humble mud-brick dwellings of the commoners, were centers of love, life, and productivity. As the morning chores were done, ancient Egyptians prepared for the day ahead. As the sun rose higher, the day's work began in earnest. The ancient Egyptians embarked on a myriad of activities that formed the backbone of their society. From weaving and professional mourning to serving in the households of the affluent, the Egyptians were a diligent people. Intriguingly, both men and women partook in these activities, a testament to the equality that was a cornerstone of their society. In the pre-Greco-Roman culture, Egyptian women were not mere bystanders. They owned property, testified in court, and could even inherit. A woman could step into her deceased husband's trade, an opportunity that was restricted when the Greeks and Romans arrived. The marriage contracts of the time also bore witness to this equality, often including mentions of allowances and items of value brought into the marriage by the woman, which forever remained hers. The social structure, however, did play a role in determining the opportunities available to an individual. The higher their status, the easier it was to obtain education and access different professions. But regardless of their social standing, every Egyptian had a role to play, a task to execute. This society was not just about work, there was also time for leisure. When the tasks of the day were done, Egyptians would engage in games and music, a welcome respite from the rigors of their daily chores. Children were considered a blessing from the gods, and their laughter and playfulness added a sense of liveliness to the otherwise industrious Egyptian lifestyle. The ancient Egyptians were a people of balance. They understood the importance of work, but also the value of relaxation and family. They built their homes with care, whether it was a commoner's house made from sun-baked mud bricks or a wealthy mansion decorated luxuriously. They believed in equality, and this belief was reflected in their society. As the sun began to set, the ancient Egyptians wrapped up their day's work and returned home. They had fulfilled their roles, carried out their tasks, and now it was time to retreat to the comfort of their homes, to their families, and to rest, ready to repeat the cycle the next day. With the setting sun, the ancient Egyptians retreated to the comfort of their homes. The hustle and bustle of the day's activities subsided, ushering in a time of quiet contemplation and familial bonding. You see, evenings in an ancient Egyptian household were not just about rest, but about strengthening the ties that bound them together. As dusk fell, the families would gather for dinner. But unlike our modern-day practice of congregating around one large table, each individual had a small table of their own. Meals were simple, yet nourishing, often consisting of bread, vegetables, and sometimes fish or meat. This practice of individual tables wasn't a sign of disconnectedness, but rather a custom unique to their culture. The importance of family in their society cannot be overemphasized. The father, mother, and children were the nucleus of the family, but their household often extended to include mothers-in-law, sisters, aunts, and sisters-in-law. The evening meal was a time for them to come together, share the day's experiences, and perhaps indulge in light-hearted banter. It was a time of unity and connection, a time to reinforce the bonds of love and respect that held them together. Children, considered a blessing from the gods, filled these homes with laughter and joy. They were doted upon, their every need attended to with love and care. And as the evening wore on, stories would be shared, tales of valor, of gods and goddesses, of the mighty Nile, instilling in the young ones a sense of pride and belonging to this ancient civilization. The evening was also a time for personal grooming and hygiene. They would clean themselves with natron, a type of salt, and oil their bodies. Hair was combed, clothes were changed, and the day's dust was washed away, preparing them for the tranquility of the night. As night fell, the ancient Egyptians retreated to their bedrooms, preparing to start the cycle all over again the next day. They would sleep on beds raised from the ground, their dreams filled with the promise of another day in the life of an ancient Egyptian. So, how was a day in the life of an ancient Egyptian? Well, it started at dawn with the daily routines in the household, each member contributing to the smooth running of the family unit. As the sun rose higher in the sky, the day was filled with various activities. Some engaged in the family trade, while others served in the houses of the rich or pursued professions unique to their gender. In the evening, the home transformed into a hub of social interactions. The ceremonial room buzzed with guests while the family members gathered around their individual tables for dinner. Despite the absence of surnames, the family tree was etched in stone, quite literally on funeral stones, to ensure the deceased were remembered. The day ended in the intimate confines of the bedroom or kitchen, the heart of the home. It's fascinating to think about how much we share with the ancient Egyptians, despite the thousands of years that separate us. Their day-to-day life was filled with activities not too dissimilar from ours, making them not so distant after all. Have you ever ruminated over the enigmas hidden under the glistening sands of ancient Egypt? The mere idea incites a sense of inquisitiveness and awe, for this territory, nurtured by the Nile, has played host to an extraordinary civilization, seemingly advanced but equally mystifying. At the core of the desert, the pyramids of Giza stand tall in their glory, symbolizing the power and inventiveness of the ancient Egyptians. These architectural wonders, constructed several millennia ago, still confound contemporary architects and engineers. How were they constructed with such meticulousness, and to what end? These queries persist, reverberating through the caverns of the Great Pyramid. Beyond the pyramids, the sepulchres of the Valley of the Kings hold a universe here, amidst the desert's tranquility. The pharaohs were consigned to their eternal slumber in opulence. Their tombs, embellished with elaborate hieroglyphics and priceless artifacts, provide a peek into their existence and ideologies. However, numerous of these crypts are yet to see the light of day, their mysteries shrouded by the relentless sands of time. It's not simply about the monumental edifices or the treasure-laden crypts. The ancient Egyptians were trailblazers in a myriad of knowledge domains: medicine, astronomy, mathematics, literature. The list is extensive. Papyrus scrolls awaiting interpretation might disclose priceless knowledge about old world wisdom. Yet, much of this wisdom continues to be untouched, constrained within the cryptic hieroglyphs. Then we come to the puzzling pantheon of the ancient Egyptians. Deities with human forms and beastly heads, tales of genesis and obliteration, rituals of life and death. These spiritual facets contribute to the intricacy and richness of the ancient Egyptian civilization. However, much of this spiritual heritage is yet to be entirely comprehended. The sands of Egypt form an expansive canvas, where the ancient civilization has painted a narrative of magnificence, intelligence, and mystery. As archaeologists and historians continue their exploration of this canvas, new discoveries keep surfacing, adding new dimensions to our comprehension of this captivating civilization. With an abundance of secrets still concealed by the sands, one can't help but ponder, what other mysteries does ancient Egypt harbor? The golden sands of Egypt have been generous, offering us glimpses into the past. Over the centuries, these unyielding dunes have relinquished a plethora of treasures that have significantly contributed to our understanding of this ancient civilization. The tombs of the pharaohs, for instance, are a testament to the grandeur of this bygone era. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the last of the seven wonders of the ancient world still standing, is a marvel of engineering and architecture that continues to bewilder scholars and enthusiasts alike. Other significant tombs, such as those in the Valley of the Kings, have been the resting place of numerous pharaohs and high officials, offering us a wealth of information about their lives and beliefs. Then there's the Rosetta Stone, an unassuming slab of granodiorite that held the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs. Discovered in 1799, this trilingual inscription unlocked the secrets of an ancient language and in turn an entire civilization. This single artifact has been instrumental in our understanding of the nuances of ancient Egyptian culture, religion, and administration. And who could forget the treasures of Tutankhamun's tomb? Discovered in 1922 by Howard Carter, this nearly intact tomb was filled with over 5,000 artifacts, many of them in pristine condition. The golden death mask of the young pharaoh, his richly adorned chariots, and the intricate jewelry are just a few examples of the exquisite craftsmanship of ancient Egyptians. Each discovery, each unearthed treasure, has added a piece to the elaborate puzzle that is ancient Egypt. Through these finds, we have been able to piece together a picture of a civilization that was at once complex and fascinating, a civilization that revered their leaders as gods, believed in life after death, and left an indelible mark on the world. Yet these unearthed treasures are but a fraction of what lies undiscovered. Beneath the golden sands, the relics of the past wait patiently, ready to reveal their secrets and continue the story of this incredible civilization. Yes, there is much more to be discovered. The quest is by no means over. It's just beginning. Beyond the well-known pyramids and grand temples, Egypt conceals more. A land steeped in antiquity, its sands whisper tales of glory and grandeur, many still untold. The mysteries of Egypt are not only confined to the majestic pyramids of Giza or the intricate tombs of the Valley of the Kings. Instead, they lie in wait beneath the vast expanses of the desert, within the heart of its bustling cities, and along the fertile banks of the Nile. The scope for discovery in Egypt is vast, as the recent unearthing of the lost Golden City near Luxor attests. A city hidden for over 3,000 years, it was found almost perfectly preserved, its streets lined with houses, its administrative and residential districts still intact. The archaeologists were astounded by the magnitude of the find. Indeed, it was a testament to the fact that, even after centuries of exploration, Egypt still has much to reveal. This discovery is not an isolated incident. Each year, more sites are being identified, waiting to be explored. Egypt, with its millennia-old history, holds an immense trove of archaeological wealth. The potential of finding such sites is not merely for the sake of historical curiosity. Each new discovery adds another chapter to our understanding of the ancient world, of civilizations that thrived thousands of years ago. Furthermore, these sites, once unearthed, can provide insights into the daily life, religious beliefs, social structure, and artistic sensibilities of the ancient Egyptians. They are not just remnants of the past, but living, breathing entities that continue to speak to us, sharing their stories, their triumphs, their tragedies. Yet the process of discovery is painstakingly slow. Each grain of sand must be carefully sifted, each artifact meticulously studied, each site painstakingly preserved. But the rewards are worth the effort, for every hidden site holds the promise of a new understanding, a new perspective, a new appreciation of the past. The sands of time have yet to reveal all their secrets. As we continue to delve into Egypt's hidden depths, we remain hopeful that the ancient land will continue to astonish us with its timeless tales and treasures. Ancient Egypt was a civilization ahead of its time, but how much do we truly know? Indeed, the civilization that thrived on the banks of the Nile was a beacon of human achievement, a testament to what ingenuity can accomplish. Let's delve into the realm of the ancient Egyptians' advanced knowledge. Consider their understanding of astronomy. They were among the first to chart the stars, establishing the basis for the modern 12-month calendar. Their sophisticated knowledge of celestial bodies allowed them to align their pyramids with the constellation of Orion, a feat that still baffles us to this day. But the depth of their astronomical understanding is still a mystery, waiting to be unraveled. In the field of medicine, the ancient Egyptians were pioneers. They performed complex surgeries, developed an array of medicinal treatments, and had an understanding of the human body that was years ahead of their time. The Ebers Papyrus, one of the oldest medical documents in existence, is a testament to their medical acumen. Yet we are only beginning to scratch the surface of their medical knowledge. Architecture was another area where the Egyptians excelled. The pyramids, the Sphinx, the temples, all stand as enduring symbols of their architectural prowess. But the principles behind their construction, the techniques they used, the tools they had, much of it remains shrouded in mystery. And let's not forget agriculture. The ancient Egyptians, through their intricate irrigation systems and knowledge of the Nile's flooding cycles, were able to turn the desert into a fertile oasis. The principles they employed are still in use today. But again, we have only a fragment of their agricultural knowledge. The ancient Egyptians were a civilization ahead of its time. Their knowledge in various fields was profound, and much of it remains untapped. We've inherited the remnants of their wisdom, but there is so much more to discover, so much more to understand. The wisdom of the ancients awaits in the shadows of the pyramids. The quest to unravel the mysteries of ancient Egypt is far from over. Indeed, the sands of Egypt continue to safeguard secrets that have yet to be revealed. Ongoing excavations and research carried out by intrepid archaeologists and historians are still unearthing treasures and knowledge that boggle the mind and challenge our understanding of this ancient civilization. In the heart of Egypt, beneath the blazing sun, the archaeologists' spades slice through the sands like a pen on a blank canvas, each stroke revealing a new layer of history, a new piece of the puzzle. Their work is not merely a job, but a passion, fueled by the allure of discovery. They are the true custodians of our past, painstakingly sifting through the sands of time. But it's not just about uncovering treasures, it's about deciphering the stories they tell. Every artifact, every inscription, every monument holds a narrative waiting to be understood. It's a complex jigsaw puzzle, and each discovery is a piece that brings us closer to seeing the full picture. The potential for new findings is vast, from the secrets of the Sphinx to the mysteries of the pyramids, from the enigmatic hieroglyphs to the lost tombs of the pharaohs. The possibilities are countless, and with each new discovery we gain a deeper understanding of the life, culture and wisdom of the ancient Egyptians. But this quest is not without its responsibilities. It's crucial that we preserve these historical sites and artifacts. They are our direct link to the past, a tangible testament to our shared human history. And they are a heritage that we must protect for future generations to learn from and appreciate. As we continue to dig deeper into the sands of Egypt, we inch closer to understanding the enigma of this ancient civilization. The quest continues, and with each passing day, the ancient sands of Egypt whisper stories waiting to be told. Our understanding of this remarkable civilization is growing, but there is still so much more to discover. The story of ancient Egypt is far from over, and the next chapter could be just beneath our feet.